Let's take a look back at the world's volcanic activity for 2025. So the latest numbers have just come out from the Smithsonian Institution's Global Volcanism Program, and we now know that there were 71 volcanic eruptions around the world recorded in 2025. In fact, 29 of those were actually new. The latest data at the end of the year was that 45 volcanoes were erupting around the world at the end of December, probably a lot more than you might anticipate. So if you go on the website for the Global Volcanism Program, you can actually break down all of these individual eruptions. And as you can see here, for the eruptions of 2025, on average, there was a new eruption around 2 or 3 every single month. That makes up that 29 new eruptions in 2025. But a lot of these eruptions have actually been ongoing for a very long time, if not a few years, or maybe even for decades. This is a volcano that's in a state of continued activity. That doesn't mean it's always erupting lava, but it's always considered active by the observatories that monitor the data. So the ground inflating and deflating, there's seismic activity, maybe there's a steam plume at the volcano. So not all volcanoes that are active are producing huge violent eruptions. It says that at the end of December there were 45 volcanoes erupting around the planet. So where are they? If we take a look at this map, you can see that most of them are around the Pacific Ring of Fire. This is kind of expected because it's where most of tectonic plate boundaries, where we expect volcanoes and volcanic eruptions to occur, actually happen. So this is where plates meet and one subducts under the other, creating a chain of volcanoes. But we can also see some there in Africa, and then also in Indonesia, and even in eastern Russia in the Kamchatka Peninsula. So these are quite well expected places where volcanoes usually erupt. But a lot of them are in very remote places, so we don't always hear about them because there's not really a large impact, so they don't make the media cycle. So we don't really hear about them in the news or even on social media, unless it's an eruption that's near a large population, produces some incredible display, creates hazards or risks to people on the ground. Those are really only the ones that make the news cycle, so you may only hear about several in a year, but the reality is there can be dozens around the planet erupting at any one point. So this is just a reminder, if you want to break down all of this data further, you can go to the Smithsonian Institution's Global Volcanism Program. There's the address there, and you can follow that and dig into all of that data and also any of the volcanoes you're interested in. Stay followed for more about volcanoes and earth science.